Chapter 3, Spring 1943. Sarah, I could hear Mademoiselle Petit-Jean calling my name, but just barely. It sounded like my teacher was at the other end of a long beach. Between us stretched a glorious expanse of flowers, leaves, and birds. With a flourish of my pencil, I added another little bird to the scene. I gave it wings and watched it take flight. Sarah! Her voice came again, still a million miles away. I was too busy to respond, lost in a world of my own creation. In art class, this was fine, but it was hard for me to keep from drawing in other classes as well. Whenever Mademoiselle Petit-Jean began our math lesson, I would slide my sketchbook out from its hiding place beneath my textbook. Then, when she wasn't looking, I could wander in. I couldn't help it. I loved to draw birds, flowers, leaves. Drawing was my escape from the world. When I drew, I would forget about the war, the Nazis, and everything that was going on around me. I would lose myself in doodles of my imagination. I could feel my soul take flight. Sarah! Huh? Yes? Mademoiselle Petit-Jean stood over me, frowning. Embarrassed, I looked down and discovered to my horror blatant evidence of my daydreaming, an open sketchbook filled with page after page of my drawings. My math book was shoved to one side, clearly ignored. I might have had my mother's smile, but I did not inherit her passion for mathematics. Would you like to share your picture with the rest of the class? My teacher asked pointedly. No, Mademoiselle Petit-Jean, I replied. I quickly covered my art with my hands. I prided myself on being considered an attentive student. It was mortifying to have been caught doodling in the middle of a lesson. I thought I was going to be sick, but then I saw her expression change. She placed a kindly hand on my shoulder and leaned over to confide in me. Those are very beautiful drawings, Sarah. You have a real gift. Thank you, I whispered, relief washing over me. I know that in the springtime many students' minds tend to wander, but right now we're doing math, so bring, bring. Her words were interrupted by the bell. The school day was over. Lucky you, saved by the bell. All right, everyone, class dismissed. See you tomorrow, children. Mademoiselle Petit-Jean held on to my shoulder a moment longer, giving me a parting look that told me not to press my luck again. I thanked her and silently promised that I would honour her kindness by keeping my sketchbook firmly shut for our next math lesson. I loved École Lafayette, a parochial school that welcomed children of all faiths and provided us with wonderful, supportive teachers like Mademoiselle Petit-Jean. She was unfailingly encouraging and kind, even when my daydreaming and doodling habits tested her patience. I grabbed my sweater and ran out of the classroom to catch up with Marianne and Sophie. I soon rejoined the throng of children scrambling to leave school as quickly as possible. Only one boy in our class lagged behind, as he did every day. He was the boy who sat next to me in class. Not by choice, mind you. His last name was Beaumieux, and mine was Bloom. So, the alphabet dictated that we spend our days side by side. That was the full extent of our connection. I did my best to ignore him. But he didn't ignore me. In fact, as well as the fact that he always left after everyone else, ended up proving fortunate for me, because in my haste to leave that day, I accidentally dropped my sketchbook on the floor. I didn't realize I had dropped it. I was too mortified by having my teacher catch me doodling and too eager to catch up with my friends. But the boy saw my sketchbook on the floor and he carefully collected it to return it to me. Had he not, the janitor might have thrown it away. It was the kind of thoughtful thing a friend would do, but I was not this boy's friend. I never spoke to him in class, or outside of it for that matter. I didn't even know his real name. I knew what everyone else called him. Tortue. Tortue? Is that like French for turtle? Julian guessed. Grandmère shook her head. Le tortue is turtle. Tortue means crab. It is a cruel nickname for a boy who had the misfortune of contracting polio as a young boy. Julian looked queasy. Did he have a face like a crab? Not at all. His face was unaffected and his torso and arms were strong. But when the disease ravaged his body, it left his legs twisted and shriveled. He used crutches to get around. Oh, said Julian quietly. That sounds bad. His voice trailed off and he looked down. His grandmother knew such things made him uncomfortable, but it wasn't her style to shy away from them. She knew that the problems at his previous school had stemmed from his behaviour towards a child with physical differences. In fact, this was why she had told him about Tortue in the first place when he had visited her in Paris. She was glad that the story of Tortue had stayed with him, even if it haunted him a little. Yes, she agreed, it was bad, things were not easy for him due to the polio and for other reasons.